I've actually seen Nautilus going by the wayside the first few games. Didn't really receive anything.
It's true, actually. Nautilus has been a little bit crazy across the globe. A lot of mid lane Nautilus actually comes out, fits a lot of damage in the top lane or jungle if you so choose. Very early lock-in of Corki as the first pick after they ban out Huni's Quinn.
Not seeing a Corki, except for Wild Turtle in the first few weeks here. Day 2 of week 1 and the first day of week 2, so they go to put that back in the composition.
Yeah, the most played mid laner for Pobelter has been Lux. They can throw the Corki in the mid lane, or of course they can flex it down for Wild Turtle. I'd expect Impact to just pick Poppy. It's a champion he's had crazy success on. Gets banned against them actually fairly frequently, especially because they can pair it with Zillion. What will they put Moon on? I feel like the jungle is what they should pick here. Elise, eh?
Elise Poppy.
No Gragas.
I was thinking the Gragas as well. A little bit of the engage they would have in the fights and sliding on in as Bash brothers or brother-sister. The quick picks over on the side of Immortals. The Gangplank comes out right away, and Rainover is going to be taking Rek'Sai this game.
Yeah, so...
Not giving up too much with the jungle.
Gangplank can't store as many barrels after the nerfs. You can only store 3, but they recharge a little faster late game, among other nerfs. So a lot of teams have dropped him off of S tier.
Yeah.
Feels like he's still relatively high tier, still top 10 pick ban champion. But at the same time, this gives a lot of flexibility for Immortals as far as where these guys can go. Obviously, Rek'Sai's in the jungle, but the Corki and Gangplank could be mid or top, Corki can be mid or bottom.
Bottom, yeah. You're really tossing things up on that side. NRG to select in. Been some Janna games here for Conquan in the most recent past. It looks like they actually want to get down and be able to lock up these fights. Janna would actually still play good in this composition. They may still go with the Braum, however, and they do.
Yeah, and I love the Sivir pick. It's something that Alltech was also really good at.
It's coming back up.
In summer of last year with Gravity, he had some of his by far best games on Sivir. Super amount of pressure he can apply.
Yeah.
And then he's still able to just kind of speed the whole team up. Will work very well with the Poppy. I think the recent patch change where the Ricochet can crit puts Sivir, like, I think you can make an argument that Sivir is a better overall AD carry than Kalista. I don't think Sivir's good into Kalista, but with Kalista off, I put Sivir as the best AD carry in the game right now, just from overall strength.
It's very strong in that late game when you're hitting bouncing boomerang blades and it's just critting around. Gonna see a Soraka, most likely, and that Lucian possibly for Wild Turtle. Wild Turtle also used to be a heavy player of that Sivir, so not really a strict takeaway there, but something in his champion pool that he'll be having to play against now. Those are the lock-ins on the side of Immortals. They see their team, and this gives the option now, GBM, to lock in something. What can he counter with?
Yep, going up straight to Corki. I mean, he can do Zillion, he can do the Blanc. Blanc has some pretty solid burst.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they've got a nice move speed composition going already. Really, GBM has a lot of flexibility. And mid is the role where you can pick the most champions.
We've still seen that Karma coming in. He could go back to the Orianna as well. He was a big proponent of that Karma.
Karma would be awesome here. I loved it back when teams would do Sivir Karma bottom lane, but throwing Karma in the mid lane just for that insane speed.
Twisted Fate could be an option. Speed up those gold cards as well. What's the I'm asking this as I know as a caster, but I'm pretty sure if once you hit that ultimate, gives it TF, he can gold card out and still have enough time to kind of rush with his speed.
Right, you can lock your gold card and then still be able to teleport in and throw it.
Well, no, I meant with Sivir's speed on that. If it's kind of even a pick for them to grab,
right.
If they're trying to accelerate him into a situation. All locked in, and we see both sides now switching around. That is going to be Pobelter's Corki in the mid lane as he takes that. I'm sure it's not his first time, but it's what we'll be seeing on the stage here for LCS. So Rainover, the team definitely switching things as I look at his name and just say it. Good job, Eyes and Brain.
Yeah, I mean, so much Lux and Cinder for Pobelter recently, even with the Twisted Fate game against Liquid in Week 6. Yeah, so like you said, a little bit different. Huni had played Gangplank before, but we'll see how that deals up against NRG, who have a really scary composition, right? Normally, Immortals is the team that kind of, they team fight so well, they're pushing the tempo on you. But now Immortals, while they do have wave clear, has very weak engage, like incredibly poor. Just a Rek'Sai that can engage fights.
Yeah.
Whereas NRG, everyone on their team has a way of assisting in an initiation. So if NRG does get ahead, it'll be kind of their game where they could dictate to Immortals potentially.
It's going to be a difficult one if they can't get the engage on Immortals side, as he was saying. Before we get into game, however, as always, let us know your predictions for this matchup. Tweet LOL Esports at LOL Esports with the hashtag IMT win or the hashtag NRG win. We'll check back with you and your picks in just a few minutes. Everybody ready for the game, waiting with bated breath. Another one. Is it going to be a 50? Is it going to be another barn burner? We will see. Immortals versus NRG. We'll see if Immortals gets another loss in that second column or if they can keep another win streak going.
Yeah, and a lot can change in 2 weeks. First 7 weeks of the season were one after the other, but then the NALCS was on hiatus for IM Katowice, and even just in that, we saw Cloud9 versus Renegades become a very close game. The draft here from NRG seems strong. They have been on a downward trajectory throughout the middle of the split, but now is their time to try and improve. And based on this draft, I kind of like their chances. Immortals picked a lot of the champions, at least with Soraka or Gangplank or Rek'Sai, that the players are comfortable playing. But I feel like the overall cohesion of this composition, aside from having a nice mix of magic and physical damage, is low. I think their initiation is incredibly poor. So it'll be a bit of a task for Immortals to pull out a win here against NRG.
It's like Immortals kind of just rely on the fact right now that we will have an early lead. Things will come to us easily, and we won't have to pressure ourselves to get into anything.
Right. I mean, a lot of the ways Immortals has won in the past when they're doing these compositions with, you know, Lux and Quinn and Soraka bottom lane, like they have been playing a lot of games without initiation. And they've been able to win by just pressuring the map. They get massive gold advantages. They take all the turrets. And then they just kind of set up a healing siege with Soraka, poke at the turret over and over again, and it doesn't matter that they don't have initiation because the other team is forced to fight them. That will be what they try and do in this game as well, I'd imagine, because they have the Soraka and they have the poking tools with the Corki and the Gangplank.
So it's been interesting as well that teams kind of, you saw Huni Reignover come over and that teams were still almost caught off guard by the fact that they can produce results in the top lane every time. You're like, yeah, I know Huni and Reignover are going to be coming for me, but it didn't even matter because Immortals still make situations like that work. You know you're a good team when you can make situations work when the other team even knows it's coming.
Yeah, and even the game they lost against COG, they were down. First 3 kills went to the bottom side on Huni or Reignover, and the game was still a huge task for COG to try and win.
Yep.
You know, may seem like Immortals is a little bit vulnerable a week, but let's remember they're 13-1.
They kind of they had the same effect in that sense, is that like they have their Huni or they have their Darshan, right? And Darshan was able to get ahead in that game, and then they pressured that so much better.
All right, Reignover blocked the Q, so he makes sure he gets that big Raptor. Quick level 3 actually for Reignover. That's a choice a lot of teams make. Some teams will trade a bunch of experience onto their top laner and jungle with double jungling here, but Reignover just, he gobbles it all up because he loves to do very early counter jungling, and it also frees him to try a lot of early blind ganks. Since then, he's already cleared his jungle and he already has an experience advantage, so if the enemy jungler goes to counter jungle him while he goes for a gank, he'll still be at least equal even if the gank fails.
He will be able to scoot up. Actually, he's going to go for Scuttle, so they're sticking on at 3 and 3 for the turrets in this sense. Mid lane on an island for now, and that turret in the top lane should be able to drop before we see that bottom one head down. With the knowledge of what's happening, obviously Reignover knows he's got a pretty clear jungle to go in and ward and just get some vision for the team, so they definitely take the advantage to do that.
Yeah, Reignover actually does a whole bunch of pathing into NRG's jungle. Yep, he's got the timing down, so because when he walked in, the jungle was clear, he predicted this is where Moon started. So now he's actually cycling the jungle at technically the same pace that Moon would be able to go for it. He would have to wait a little bit longer for the Raptors to come up, but now his own jungle is starting to respawn. So Reignover always with the efficiency and very intelligent jungle pathing.
Wind Speaker's Bond, all right.
I'm a little surprised Wild Turtle hasn't gone with Warlord's Bloodlust on Lucian. Almost every major AD carry has switched over to it for the massive lifesteal you can get from it now. But because he has a Soraka, he's probably just going for the extra damage from Fervor of Battle.
Also loves to start call. Keep himself farming and fighting a little bit. Not going for the kills too much. Seeing or been hearing of some supports as well, looking at Stone in that bot lane for the HP as well, which is quite interesting. Haven't seen it in the LCS just yet. We may see supports trend towards that. 5 minutes into this middle lane, 36 to 21. So Pobelts are definitely getting an advantage here with probably just a little bit of Fast Bomb. Can't think of the word.
Action? Fast bomb action? Seems like something you would say.
It'll come up.
Okay.
It'll come up.
Oh, Adrian takes 2 turret shots. Probably not going to matter because they are strictly trading turrets.
Yeah, it was zoning. Fast Bomb zoning.
Oh, got it.
There you go. So top now for Conquan and Altec as they just beat away. So slow, these early turrets. You just feel so insignificant when you're kind of just tapping away at it.
But it's a lot of times it's the minions that do a lot of the damage
Yeah.
on these turrets. Because you're stacking up these big waves.
Like, was that me? No, it was like 6 caster minions at once.
Getting an early start.
This is nice, getting the TF into his turret. So much harder for him to farm, but with a few stacked decks, he'll be able to get the CS. Very nicely done there, getting all of the turret on that one. GBM knowing his method to the madness for a TF under turret. 400 gold lead with kind of what's panned out so far. Top with turret dropping. It's gonna make it 500.
Yeah, amongst all this though, I mean, look at Pobelter in the mid lane. 15 CS up on GBM.
Yeah, he's keeping that consistent.
One of the one of the big
ahead.
advantages that happened here is Rainover handed him over a very early blue buff so he can spam his phosphorus bomb onto GBM. Increases wave clear, also increases harass on top of turret, and it's leading to some nice CS denial.
My brain didn't even reset this game. I saw that blue buff and I was like, yeah, blue buff, long game, right? We're like 20 minutes in. No, it's still 6 minutes, so you're right, that is very early. GBM holding tight, holding pretty steady then, given those circumstances.
A lot of the time, Rainover on his first jungle path as Rek'Sai will leave the blue buff up and then path just to all the small camps, because the small camps give as much experience as the larger one, but they respawn faster.
Right.
So it really doesn't cost him anything on Rek'Sai since he doesn't care about the blue buff. And then on his next bit of the jungle, around 4 to 5 minutes, he will then give his blue buff to his mid laner. It's a very unexpected power spike for that mid laner, and the enemy mid laner usually doesn't have the itemization or access to a blue buff for the next couple of minutes, so it kind of throws him for a loop. At this point, though, GBM could still get his blue buff later and then kind of turn it back around on Pobelter.
Interesting. I was kind of just looking at what Rainover ran for these non-blue kind of necessary junglers. It's just his Rumble games or whatnot. So really just an idea for this game to come in that they used. Switching things up nicely. NRG going to try to get themselves a little bit deeper here as well as give safety to Altec. 55 to 55 between the AD carries. Kind of see that match up. Altec's ultimate definitely going to be providing the utility they need later to get those engages. Looks like it's just a farm alarm for Rainover.
Well, he needs to get bottom lane because Moon is trying to push this massive minion wave in with the Rift Herald buff. These minions can die very quickly, but they would have killed the turret if Rainover didn't go down there. So actually a bit of a win there for Immortals because they stopped the Rift Herald, counter jungle with the red, and now he gets his own red. So he's denying Moon some jungle experience.
Very nicely done. Still a bit of a lead in mid. Get a heal over here from Adrian. We haven't seen too much of the bot lane just yet, and I guess Immortals have done a really good job at hiding them, to be honest, with this lane split, or lane swap, I should say. And NRG will have the map pressure now to pick up Dragon, so very slow game to start this one off. They'll have it. There it is.
Yeah, good neutral objectives early on from NRG, right? They're still, even in turrets, they essentially lose a red buff and a few minor jungle camps to pick up a Rift Herald and a Dragon.
Yep.
I would say that's actually a worthy trade.
Kind of without really response as well. And all right, so GBM now going to be able to hold much stronger in this mid lane. I don't know if it'll be enough for him to get out to the side lanes without losing damage on his turret. This Corky pick really keeping him pushed up, and you can see instantly there a few tags of the Thunderlords, and he's got a whole team and cavalry right on his back.
Pobelter has the package, so no need to be passive in lane. There's multiple dashes to run away while that's still ticking on him.
Already right back on the Rift, and Immortals is trying to kind of push down mid lane. They know it's an objective, but whatever is in front of them, they will take down. There's no hesitation to it. Setting that up, may see Conquan here for a moment, and they do finally get pushed off of it. They spent some time, not enough minions to take it down, and Rainover getting himself in a little bit of trouble. Is this the play that makes it happen? The pop-up's already been there. Rainover trying to go for the wall. He will have flash to get over. And GBM pulled the card. You knew he was going for it after a nice hit coming in from the cannon barrage, and it will save Rainover's life. Also a red buff as he just picked up. So flash down on GBM. I'm sure they'll keep that on their mind for return.
Flash and ultimate down for him. Meanwhile, Pobelter was picking up the blue buff and go right back to lane, so it was a nice attempt by NRG to try and stop that counter jungling of Rainover, but they don't slow him down too much. He can recall, goes right back to one of his tunnels, and just keeps on farming.
Yeah, right to camp.
It's a big pressure game from Immortals because, you know, they don't have the champion tools to force fights and force kills. So the way they're going to get an advantage in this game is that they can keep counter jungling, keep all the waves shoved to NRG's side, and then get a turret and gold advantage from that. So far, they are kind of doing that. You know, 1,000 gold lead. They have lost the major objectives, but they don't care about the early ones. Now they're grouping up and trying to get mid lane.
Just stubbing your toe to miss the early ones. It goes away, but you have to wait a while. They'll be all right. 10 minutes in, they already have a bit of pressure here on the mid lane. Pobelter's like, yeah, there's a turret here, but I'm going to push you right off of it. Very, very strong pressure, but a good shield from Conquan to mitigate a bit of the damage coming in. They don't really have vision if Immortals were to go around them, but Immortals are playing this slow to get what they want.
The thing is, I still really like NRG's champion select here because, you know, the win condition for Immortals, there's really good wave clear on the side of NRG. GBM could technically clear, and Altec can still clear with the Ricochet.
Yeah.
But boy, is this push relentless.
You're going to have to make it work in a bit. You're not going to get too much of a push from Impact. I'm sure they're relying on that right now, but it is a timer they have to keep an eye on. The next wave should be enough for them to get this turret and then go ahead and respect that bottom wave push. Top's going to be hit by GBM, so that probably means his turret.
Yeah.
Not long for this world.
Yeah, they're sending TF away, so it's a 3v5. It's really just Altec who can clear this.
Right.
He can still do it. I mean, Sivir's got tremendous wave clear. And they're pushing him off.
Culling means the turret doesn't take as much, but he stops that a little short, puts the auto attacks back on, and a flash out from Moon. There's going to be the on the hunt coming in. Pobelter is going to take a few damages.
Whoa,
Sivir isn't really there. And it looks like GBM gets himself safely back to the backside.
What a huge investment there, though. That was a 5v3. They do lose their turret, but NRG's got them all really, really low. Impact wants to dive. They have to worry about Soraka.
What? Impact! What do you want? Impact! He goes in! He goes down for first blood!
Impact. Not what you want to do. Maybe the story of NRG season, I'm not sure what that was. That was just a bad play by Impact. Soraka was hanging around. I think Adrian was able to land one heal on it. The team was going to be able to trade back a turret anyway without giving up first blood. He could have easily continued to push bottom. Just a really greedy play. Maybe Impact thought GBM was going to be able to back him up, but no, he was all alone. He was all alone.
Wow. Unfortunate. Even in situations like that, you have to take into consideration summoner spells, fog of war, and then okay. Let's move on. 110 on the dragon, and that first blood going over to the guy you don't want it to, Hooney's Gangplank. So
Exactly.
He in a lane by himself, doing things, farming up, walks up to the first fight, able to grab himself a kill.
Hooney's Cull Gangplank, by the way. He is just a little bit slow as far as how fast he's going to power up into a real champion. Currently, Hooney is really only threatening for having a global ultimate. Oh, Rainover. Get it.
Scuttler MVP, that was a dodge and a half. All right, 13 on the clock. This is playing out very much like last game. A first blood that was kind of a sketchy play, and then I get a bit of a gold lead, and we'll see if any inner turrets here can drop for Immortals.
Yeah. If we think back as well to the last time these teams played, it was actually a very competitive game back in week 2. Immortals brought a really hard engage comp against NRG, who were running a poke composition. This is actually kind of the reverse of that, where NRG has the tools to start fights. And Immortals are going to be the ones that are sitting and poking at their turrets. So big changes for both of these teams as the season has moved on, for sure. NRG looking to force this Dragon fight. Pull them in for it.
Oh, there's On the Hunt. Alltech knows he doesn't want to be the guy that goes into the front with On the Hunt. He wants to be able to help everyone get to the front. Impact taking a bit, but doesn't want the engage. This is all a retreat right now. Over the wall goes Rainover, knowing there's not enough crowd control to lock him down right away. And Immortals is just playing a great game of push and shove right now.
Yeah, but they're still down the second Dragon right there. And unless NRG hands them a kill on a silver platter like Impact did in the mid lane turret, I think it's very hard for Immortals to actually find realistic team fights. They will be scaling up and have tremendous damage eventually when Huni gets 4 or 5 items on Gangplank, Lucian, Corki. All those champions scale very well. But it's not like Sivir and TF don't scale very well either. I really like the way NRG is matching most of the Immortals' pressure thus far. And I think they're positioned actually fairly well to win.
As long as they don't go for any crazy hits later. There's one hit. GBM won't have pick a card in time with the slow coming in. Flashes! That was the orange immediately. GBM's alive. There's the burn. It wears off. He's going to be making it out. I can't believe Trial by Fire didn't kill him. That was so close. He's going to go for the kill. One rocket in. He's out. Lady Luck finds his way home.
I didn't think he'd have time to channel that one. I thought stopping for a second was going to give Pobelter the kill, but he escapes the situation that he put himself in. That was actually not something the GBM should have done. He does burn the Soraka ultimate, but it costs him his flash and ultimate as well. I think it would have been better served just harassing Huni under the turret and then not diving. So far, NRG has been baited twice by Adrian's Soraka heals.
This is intense. Another lot of almost deaths. Late first blood. Slow kind of assessing of both teams. It's like, can we fight this? Maybe not. Let's just peel off. All right, they ulted. Let's not.
Maybe later.
We didn't want to. Maybe later. We have a long time. Don't worry about it. All day. That's what the week off has given these guys.
Yeah. Lost their sense of urgency. They're
right.
Like, you know, I haven't been on stage in a while. Maybe an extra 20 minutes today. You know, give us a long
5 more minutes.
Oh dear, there's a good poke.
Can't do much wave clearing with that. Calling in your face. The Cannon Barrage won't lead to too much. Rainover over the wall. That's consecutive crowd control. Nicely locked down. They get him out alive. He's going to be all right.
Yeah, we need to reestablish the rules as well of sieging versus engaging because it requires instantaneous decision-making. Every time Immortals groups up with Soraka and 5 people, NRG need to immediately return a large amount of damage, lest they be poked out quickly by a culling, Corki missiles, and then have to give up. Because once a siege gets their footing and they poked you low, there's very little you can do to stop the turret from dying. So the instant they group up, NRG has to go for a fight there. At that point, they took the damage from the culling, but they immediately turned on to Rainover for some damage, and that stopped the push. So that was actually very well done by NRG.
Still keeping it a bit spread out. Turtle towards the top lane. I don't think they had vision of that for a bit, but they know he's out of fog. And looks like they'll peel off for now. Good push in the bot lane gives, from Impact, gives the team time to breathe here. Set back up again. They already have good enough control to have those 2 pink wards on either side of mid. That means they have been there for a while and have been able to pretty much hold it. Should be cleared out soon, however, with you see the far side wards coming in. So with this time, NRG backing off. Let's see how they can set up once again. Immortal's still up, 3,000 gold, able to hold themselves steady here, even though the objectives and whatnot have been going over to NRG.
Yeah, Wild Turtle's cull completed, so we got the 300 gold payout at the very end. Huni's cull's halfway there. So, you know, they also have Gangplank. I think as far as just like actual gold, the dudes farming legit minions, it's kind of even. But Immortals have all these kind of cheat mechanics to just kind of get more gold, as well as the first blood that was handed over them. That's what's showing as the gold lead. But the Dragon, I think, equalizes that. The amount of stats that NRG will be gaining from Dragon, especially if they can get Dragon 3 and get the 5% move speed, can kind of slingshot them back over top of where Immortals is. It's going to be all about NRG keeping up with these rotations from Immortals, though. Another siege approaching in the bottom lane.
So easily clear these waves out. The passive shot after a Frost Bomb from Wild Turtle. He has package on Corki. Pobelter does as well. So that is going to be something we're keeping our eye on coming into this fight. And all of energy is actually funneled into that lane besides Impact to the top. So no real side engages here for Immortals. They're safe to be in and out. Didn't gain much off of that. And actually get respect to the top lane to push that wave away.
It's really tough for them. They try and poke into a Braum shield, and then the wave gets cleared by Twisted Fate and Sivir. So that wasn't even a time where Energy had to match with a fight. They just wave cleared. Impact was threatening bottom side with a minion push, and it stopped it dead in its tracks.
So here's a question then. We heard Impact before the game. Would this be a position for what was banned? Like, you know, a Nautilus, just a tank in general in that top lane for Huni this game? Something they could engage on maybe.
For Huni? Maybe, but at that point I think Immortals has to go with a totally different team comp.
Okay.
Immortals team comp right now is very heavily focused around poke and waiting for the enemy team to kind of try and engage on you.
No.
It's how they sit the whole Soraka situation up. It's how they run most of their Soraka comps. I think if they had put Adrian on something like Alistair, then yeah. Then
That's
you do the
easier
Nautilus.
switch, right?
You go for the big team fights. But time and time again, this split, Immortals has been going with the pressure poke game.
It's true. So far, they've played it well, but eventually, you show that to somebody and they'll figure it out more and more each time, figure out where to actually hit it, where it counts. It seems like teams have done that, closing the gold lead quite quickly, now only down to about 1,000. Energy, without even matching a fight.
Oh, man.
Quite a bit.
Energy is going in for this Dragon Steel really far off.
That's
teleport
Moon
from Impact.
They got Dragon number 3. Do they have the fight? That's going to be Soraka out. Adrian is out of this fight. He may be able to come back in with a wish. Kill's going down. That's Conquan in. Turtle's got a great position. Gets gold carded, but makes the distance to keep himself alive. Great positioning by Immortals there to walk themselves out of the pit and get a fight that they needed. Dragon still going to Energy. We don't have Impact across the map here, so this is Immortals' move to continue. Thunderlord's just proc. That's Gatling. The auto comes out. Phosphomb onto Impact. And it looks like Immortals are going to have to assess now, where can they go? Do they have a lane to push? It might be mid.
Yeah, even though the Dragon got stolen, I think that's still very advantageous for Immortals because that's the way they find fights. Energy gave that fight to them. They ran headlong into them. And then even though Immortals may not have indexed in initiation on their team, they definitely indexed heavily in damage. So if Energy doesn't have the right start for a team fight, Immortals is going to blow them up. Impact also wasn't there at the start of that fight. Very poor teleport, and now they're going for a 22-minute Baron. This looks dangerous.
Baron seems sketchy, but usually when it's a 50-50, Moon's not here. This is a fight for Immortals, but not in terms of HP. They only have the numbers and members. Is that enough to win this fight? Shots coming out from Pobelter. Wild cards are just that. You can't always dodge them. 2 members now of Immortals fall. Overstaying their welcome is too much for them to handle. And now 2 kills over to Energy. Moon gonna look for it. There's the Volatile Spider. The last hit goes down as he even uses the Randuins to make sure he would have had the kill anyways. Energy comes back nicely, but what can they find off of this as well?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to want to turn for Baron, but they are thinking about it as Altec goes down bottom. No, they're just going to, I think they're just going to wave clear and keep the gold even. Overall, since they didn't lose the Baron, I think this is okay for them. Immortals, it's 22 minutes. They don't kill the Baron very fast, even if they're hugely damage focused. And Adrian is low on health and mana before this fight happens, so the normal reckless fight that Immortals can put in can't be sustained up by the rest of them. GBM catches Adrian with a stray wild card right there, right in the middle, and at this point, they have to turn back around. Impact does fall to the culling. GBM doesn't get any more wild cards onto Turtle and Pobelter, but Moon is able to get a nice repel onto a Scuttle Crab to get in range to finish off Wild Turtle. And that equalizes the loss of the Dragon fight. It makes the steal essentially worth it in a roundabout sense because the gold stays close and they still end up with the Dragon. Oh my.
And right through wards. Yeah, they're really just kind of trotting around without a worry of what's in the brush next to them. Maybe knowing that they're not going to take a fight from that distance. They see Huni or Pobelter, they're going to be jumping away or running away with oranges, I guess. So GBM towards the bot lane now. They're kind of using him as that split push for him to get back in. He's TP and that gate, so he can get himself around the map quite easily as Impact gives him just a little cushion in the jungle for safety.
Yeah, speaking of Impact, I think he's had a very poor game so far. He gave up first blood with the turret dive.
That was strange.
And then in the Dragon fight where they lost, we didn't get to replay it because so much chaos happened afterwards, but he teleported in essentially by second inner bottom turret, so about half a map away from the Dragon, and that was as Energy was going in for the steal. So he didn't make it to that fight at all. Now, though, they're trying to force initiation. Maybe this is the play.
Oh, they're going to rock
himself.
Soraka. 5-4 now. Nice kill going over to GBM. They solidify that. And then it becomes a game of, not a game of, I should say, oh, that person just lived. Now with Soraka down, they can finalize those last hits on the champions and try to get something to work. Minion wave just a short ways away. See if they don't get flanked here by Huni and Rainover.
They're going to be looking for a lot of damage. This is their opportunity.
It feels like they always take a chance to go if they have it. Rainover stepping forward. That's a huge pileup, and he gets 3. That's a, oh my God, the damage coming in. Turtles light across the board. Pobelter as well. What a play from GBM. He's able to get the kill onto Turtle, and now here comes Rainover. He was fighting an entire team towards the top side of that one, and it looks like they'll be able to finalize the kill. The flash, the Q, the parlay, the takedown, very nicely done. Immortals come in on a big pincer move.
Yeah, Immortals has very low initiation, but they made that initiation count right there. Gangplank called to cut the retreat path. Rainover then traps them in the retreat path with a flash on Burrow, and they crushed NRG with a whole bunch of damage right there. NRG not the best turret siege. Sivir has to get very close to the turret to get the damage down. Big swing for Immortals.
So that's one of those things, like I said before, is like, you know it's gonna happen. They had wards over there. Rainover was clearing a ward, but they still get it to happen the way they want.
Yeah, they funnel very close together. Boom. Triple knockup from Rainover into the barrel crit from
There's
Huni.
so much I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
Whee!
Trinity Force Infinity Edge for Huni. And that's the thing about Gangplank, right? He can have very weak early games, but if he finds the right team fight, none of that matters. The barrel can totally swing the entire game. And the flash at the very end for yet another kill. Now they got the Baron push, so round up the siege yet again. NRG is going to have to fight him off if they want to stop it.
27 minutes in. Immortals, once they take hold, they do not let go, and now push themselves all the way up the map to the inhibitor turrets. Previously not even close to these. They were just waiting for the right moment to put their foot down. 5 seconds on the Dragon. If they want, they can take a breather. Go ahead and grab that. Don't have side waves pushed too well right now to really make the pressure they want.
Yeah, and I think the the Dragon is the right call here because they need to slow down NRG's ascension to 5 dragons. And it's crazy that Immortals is so dominant. I love watching them play because of that, because this team composition has fairly narrow areas of success, but Immortals knows exactly how to attack those areas. They can't initiate team fights out of nowhere, but around objectives, and when the enemy team tries to push you, they're coming to them, and then Immortals uses their insane amount of damage and healing to just blow through them. Now with the Baron buff, they can continue to get that damage down, and look at them go.
Love seeing the ultimate coming in. Looks like 2 members of NRG, or rather 2 members of Immortals will have to wait to get back, as 2 members of NRG very low also have to go back to the fountain. And having that Conquan shield down on Braum as well, once they get to the turret, he's not even there, they're able to get a bit more damage down. So just kind of working on that. Teleport to the mid lane. It's gonna be a push in here.
Everyone wants him to take it. GBM decided to go Roa Lichbane, so he has no Zonias. That makes him very weak in team fighting as far as teleporting into 4 or 5 people.
Turrets.
Patience, he will do it later. Or at least try to. Immortals doesn't quite get that done.
He's very close.
He's close to being able to do that.
Zanya's is kind of expensive now.
But then again, against the Soraka, when you put the silence zone down where he's going to be trying to land, and he actually can't Zonias once he goes in, even if he hasn't.
It's an interesting thing to as well. Just in general, silence to play around if you don't very often.
I mean, Adrian's the only guy who plays Soraka regularly in pro play.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have many VODs to watch of other players playing it. It's not like you can scrim people to say to get a feel of what it's like to play against Adrian Soraka.
It's not even one of those if you can't beat it, join it either. Other people are just like, no man, you're a different breed.
It's true though. Like everyone else is playing Braum, Alistair, Trundle, these like very pick-oriented supports that have big tanky stats. Ooh. Adrian runs in with gold generation runes on Soraka.
Right.
Sits in the back of the fight. Yet Immortals has practiced so much with it, they know exactly how to play with it.
What their boundaries are very well. Turtle to the top here. They're What is it? 2-1-2. Okay, they're splitting out finally. I couldn't tell what the kind of strategy they were going with here. Well, they might have been offsides for a second, but we're all right. Moving up. That does not look like GBM's going to hold that top lane for very long. Rainover's already there to make sure that does not happen. And
Yeah.
wave clear versus wave clear. I think they're going to win on the side of Immortals here.
Yeah, and herein lies the dilemma for NRG. They want to Sivir ult to try and get them off the turret, but if they Sivir ult, they're walking into theoretically a Gangplank ultimate and Gangplank barrels if we're in a 5v5 situation. So they're kind of stuck in this wave clear pattern unless they can get some good flanks off, but the wards are very good for Immortals right now, making the flank kind of impossible.
That's true. With that Gangplank, you almost can't choose where to fight.
Oh, again.
They're right in it. Altec's forced to get out of that one. He throws the ult and the flash down. Pobelter's knocked up, but it's always in and out. Not one member of Immortals has died yet. They take the damage, know their boundaries, get themselves out. Turtle going a little hard. They're able to get the kill over onto GBM, and now they're going to be, look at all the Ardent plays. Just misses off of the side. Goes for the flash, goes for the hit. It's just A autos. He's not going to be going for the Q there. Able to take down Turtle. Try to put out the shell and go into the base.
That was a deep dive, one would say. Third death of the game for Wild Turtle, and Altec still trying to wave clear.
Reminiscent.
Oh, they don't even get the turret.
Yeah, they went a little too hard on that one. Still staying. Look how low Rainover is. This is the game of, yeah, we're going to bait you in just an inch with this much health, but that guy will live, and then you'll go down, and then you're pulling out your hair because you think you were going to get that kill, but just lose more.
Impact baited yet again. Right there. I like the way Immortals is finding initiations. They throw the Gangplank ultimate down, and pretty much on cooldown, Rainover will flash on Burrow, someone who's been hit by the Gangplank ultimate. So you can see NRG trying to defend here. Gangplank ulti down, flash on Burrow, right in the middle of it. Gets Moon and Altec. Means he has to burn Summoner Heal, Altec has to flash away, and it's full retreat. But the rest of the lockdown for Immortals is fairly low, which is why the retreat can go on for so long. Moon lives, TF lives, everyone on Immortals flashes over.
I think at some point in this play, Immortals were like, yeah, end it! Oh, wait. Wait a minute. There's inhibitor turrets.
Yeah. And you're dead.
All right.
They didn't even get the turret. They do get 3 kills, though, and they're now at 10,000 gold ahead.
I thought that just Huni's ultimate was going to be the turret. It's like, hey, boom, turret, this is great.
They're going for the win.
A little hard.
Essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something they usually do, and they're not afraid to continue to try it, even if it has kind of a half go factor, a half win factor. 5 turrets to 3 now. 3-1 in Dragons. That's in favor of NRG. But like you said, that 1 definitely helps stop NRG getting 5. Turtle and Adrian back to the top side here. Looks like they'll keep pressure where Baron will be for the time being.
Yeah, and it's also now very hard for NRG to realistically defend objectives against Immortals.
Yeah.
Just because of the massive gold difference and how Huni has become quite powerful. Not to mention the damage from Corki and Lucian. Really everyone on Immortals is powered up past where NRG is.
So where will they be? 14-1 after this.
Yeah.
Dignitas, TSM, and Impulse for Immortals. So looking to have actually very good run. Not solidified yet for playoffs, so absolutely have to keep in consideration that every team counts. Every team's going to be a difficult match.
Absolutely. And Immortals, they're not going to have the undefeated split that Fnatic had as far as LCS goes. But if we're speaking just in the North American LCS, they can still be on track to have the highest winning percentage ever in a North American LCS split.
With the statistics they put up as well.
The highest so far was Cloud9's split in 2013 summer. They were 25-3 back when we played 28 games. Here, though, they have a chance to be 17-1 if they win out.
Few trades, a lot. I like how in this game there's always
here we
multiple fights going on. The Glacial Fisher right through Tribrush. Altec's got some good bouncing blade area in this fight. Huni tries to get right into the middle. Adrian and Turtle, very good partnership there on the backside. Stop Impact from getting any of those kills. Nobody yet has dropped. They do drop the Soraka. Turtle's now alone. That's what they wanted. There's the TF. Oh, he takes him down. Nullifies it. And he is going to get taken down in the end, though. NRG absolutely standing tall in that fight and staying true to what they needed to do, and that's keep the fight going.
Oh, man. Yeah, Impact teleported in for a flank there, and they were able to take Pobelter down early on in the fight, so despite the big gold advantages, Immortals was split. Huni couldn't get the right barrows down in that fight to have a huge impact, but now Speaking of impact, they're going for a very risky Baron, and Gangplank's there.
One barrel goes in. That's the ultimate. This could be another kill. Baron does not fire off one more. Barrel gets taken out by the auto. Coming in from Moon. He saves a life possibly on that one. They're going to get out alive. What a back and forth. Baron lives for another fight.
I mean, he could teleport on the ward if he was being a little cheeky, but he has no vision inside, so he's deciding against it. We got some games today.
Yes.
This one's turning exciting. So let's see how this actually started. Rainover is the one going for the kill. So they're trying to initiate it, but this time they didn't do the unburrow on top of the Gangplank ultimate, which has been what's working so well for them in the past. It gets turned around because Pobeltha gets counter-initiated on very well. Poppy ultimate to buy them some time. Exhaust on Ahuni as he's trying to engage. And that just buys NRG a whole bunch of time. And I love what Impact did here. Stunning Wild Turtle and immediately going for Adrian to take away the healing threat.
Wow.
But Baron's going for because there is a dead Impact who can't teleport in.
Oh.
Yeah, because they tried the Baron, Impact couldn't make it. It was a 5v4, and there's no way Energy's going to funnel in to a team that is superior to them in team fights for the most part in a 4v5. Oh, man. That small call right after the fight and Impact dying has such a large influence over this game. Now Mortals gets yet another push with Baron.
So whatever is working in their favor, or when they have something working in their favor, I should say, they are able to use it very well. Immortals, no hesitation in their fights, even in that last one. And a quick loss of vision in the brush. Actually, I noticed that the end of the fight really hurt them throughout the engage. That's when you saw Impact come back in. Still, seeing that fight means that NRG can stand in these fights with Immortals. There can be something that they can take advantage of if Immortals makes that error. It could be right here as they push up mid lane. Usually don't have all members together, but Immortals will do it this time as they try to drop mid and hip.
Yeah, and it's very hard for NRG to stop this. I mean, they're trying to have GBM split push down on the bottom side. I mean, they couldn't have wave clear, but at least they could have tried for team fight. Immortals is not going to stop until GBM comes back to base. Here they go.
And it looks like he's actually going to try to use the gate to do that. He's walking back to be in range. The ulti popping just one out. That was Huni, but he's really not the guy to kill down the turrets that fast. That's going to be Corki. That's going to be Lucian. They're making it very well known that they'll be staying in the base until the game is over. TF able to get back. GBM, though, is very low on mana. That's one of the cards he can throw, and he may be going down before he's able to get anything out. They're happy to stay here and say hello. Take him down, the gold card. Whoa. Inside, flash out for Pobeltha. He stays up, still lives as well, thanks to Adrian and a bit of the cleanse play. And now they will keep going out of this one. Impact goes down. They're just making sure they get those fantasy points in as they find the Nexus. 20-10 and a 15,000 gold lead. Immortals takes down NRG.
Yeah, and it was a very crazy game. A little bit of an anticlimactic ending. I feel like NRG made some big shot calling mistakes there, having GBM trying to split push bottom lane, not even threaten an inhibitor, and Immortals just kind of walked in and got a kill onto Altec, which led to that endgame ace. All in all, though, Immortals make it work yet again. They picked huge amounts of damage. They picked Soraka yet again. Pobeltha's only death leads to an 8-1-6 total scoreline.
Yeah.
And they advance to 14-1.
Absolutely crazy. What a way that they kind of come back and play these games. We used to look at SKT games when they were played. Now this is a slight comparison, but you just see that kind of gold deficit or gold lead for a team. And if you would cover it, you'd say the big lead's going to the team, or the big lead is going to be the winning team. But in an SKT game, you would say, you know, this is anybody's still. And that's kind of the way you feel when Immortals plays. No matter what is happening, no matter what just happened in the last play, they could come out of base and fight again and win that fight, it seems. It's just the kind of mentality they portray in a fight. And we saw it a bunch of times right after they won a fight, NRG would back off. They'd say, man, they're going to get it again. They're going to get it. And that one was the second tier in mid when we had the 3-man knock-up and just they rolled right through on NRG.
Yeah, Immortals always looking for the right fight, and they're always willing to go for it, even if they're not bringing the tools to get really, really strong engage all the time. They have definitely enough engage with the Gangplank and the Rek'Sai.